Julius Lancaster once again. Just so excited just to talk about some issues before we go into the selection. And I know it's a vital time for everybody. Once again, these videos are tools for education. Hopefully we say something that may impact somebody's life. We come on here and we just try to keep it real. What's up, Coach Lancaster? Hey, Coach.
How you doing, man?
Good. So we got the selection coming up, man. How's the congregation? How they feeling, man? Are they nervous, or how's everybody feeling about this, man? It's a lot of tension going on. A lot of issues popping up, like the coronavirus and healthcare. How does your congregation feel right now?
Man, I think, by and large, I've been just wanting everybody to realize, just from a kingdom perspective, we're for the kingdom. So, obviously everybody has their different ways that they vote and things of that nature. But ultimately, we just want to see God's kingdom flourish. So, I try to keep a pretty level approach, when it comes to the election and things of that nature. But I think, just from an African-American perspective, looking at how everything is playing out, obviously, I feel like there's a certain level of anxiety that's, floating around just in the African-American community in general. And we're believing in God and trusting that, his will is going to be done ultimately. But, clearly we have, opinions about, different things along those lines. So, man, we just, trying to encourage everybody to really seek out the truth and the facts, and also really, vote about what's going on in your local government as well. I think that's really critical.
So locally, you got some. Do you got a lot? Do you have a lot of standout candidates as far as both parties? I mean, who's really looking good?
I mean, we've got some good candidates, man. Some people running for different offices and judges and things along those lines that are just really just solid people. And I think that's one of the things that I've been really stressing is really pay attention, because a lot of the things that we deal with, in cities is things that are going on locally. And so, I think, just paying attention to that. But yeah, we've got some pretty stand-up people, I think. And so I'm excited to see them continue to have their opportunity to move forward in their careers.
So only a couple of days now. How did you cast your ballot? Did you vote early? Have you already voted? Did you mail it in, or did you stand in line? How did you cast your ballot? And did did your family members go as a group? I know some people went as a group. Did you guys do like a unity march to the polls, or how did you vote this year?
So we're voting on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah. So Monday I'm voting, and I take my boys with me when I vote, just to help them understand the importance of it. They're 6 and 8, and my wife as well. So, just, to help them understand the importance of their voice and the importance of their vote, and understanding, what our ancestors had to go through in order to have this opportunity. So, we're going to go on Monday and cast our votes, man, and let our voices be heard for whatever value it's going to add.
So what are some of the concerns that you hear about from your congregation? Like, what are some of the things that people are like, is it healthcare? Is it the corona? Like, everybody has things that they're worrying about right now. What are the major concerns that you hear? What are the rumblings that they say in church? What are they rumbling about? What are the sounds? What is the voice of the people?
I mean, I think, a pretty common thread, throughout at least the African-American community is, this thought, or, this idea that at heart, you really don't know what is Donald Trump's real thought process or affection towards the African-American community at large. And so, so you have people, I believe, that are kind of concerned, about that. And then, you have people that are concerned about, the Biden party, and, and, you know, some of the things that, you know, they're doing or not doing. And, you know, whether it's the criminal justice piece with them, how's that going to pan out and all of that. And so, you know, you're going to have people on all ends of the spectrum when it comes to their opinions. And so, you know, you just want people to make a prayed up decision before they cast their vote.
Yeah, yeah. So I know a lot of it's unfortunate, and we've had a couple of talks lately about how the church is divided on Sunday, and it's the most segregated time. And I know a gentleman named Kim Boyd, and I think they did a piece with Love Akron in the chapel, and the gentleman did a great job. I think Joy Johnson from the House of the Lord up this way, they had a nice piece that they did, and my pastor, one of the pastors I know next door, Pastor Isaac from the chapel, sent me the video, and it seems like our white brothers and sisters are ready to reach out. They're ready to cross. And we know we've seen, this is not the first, these are not the first instances where a black person has got killed on camera. It's not brand new, you know, and it goes on all the time, the violence. None of this is brand new, but it seems like right now at this time, during this pandemic, all these things just came forth all at the same time. And it was a great message about the education. What do you think that our white brothers and sisters really need to know? You know, because a lot of the history is ignored, you know, and being in the school systems, I walk through the classrooms all the time, and when they start teaching about, say, Christopher Columbus, and a lot of the history is based on slavery, but what do they need to know? Like your white Christian brothers and sisters, what can they do? What do they need to know to be anti? Like Brother Dwight, he couldn't make it on right now. I think he's with the family, but it's not just being not racist. You got to be anti-racist. What would you say to your white brothers and sisters in Christ?
I mean, I think, you know, just really being able to have a panoramic viewpoint of the situation. It's tough to expect them to know exactly how we feel because they're not us. And so that's almost an unfair expectation. But I think just to have an open mind regarding, you know, the different topics that come up surrounding racial tension and things of that nature, and to not approach the conversation with any preconceived notions, any preconditionings, or anything along those lines, and to just really be open to hear the heart of the Black community as it pertains to, you know, everything that's going on, all of the racial tension and everything that's going on, and look at some of the facts and just be okay with the fact that it's a fact, and let's not try to rationalize our way through the facts, and, you know, come up with, you know, some reasonings for the facts. Just accept the facts for the facts, and let's just work on some solutions together to make whatever are facts that are negative, make those facts become positive.
Wow, wow. So you guys, I think Mike and Rick, Pastor Mike and Pastor Rick, it's a multicultural store that you guys open. It's like it's called like a diversity store. It sounds like a culture market or something like that.
Yeah.
You talked about it in the last interview a little bit. Now you guys are up running. I've seen some of the pictures. What is the essence of what you guys are doing with the grocery store, the market?
I think, you know, initially, you know, we came together as a collective group of minorities, majority Black, all Black investors, and the whole purpose is to provide economic empowerment within the Black community. The reality is this particular grocery store has been in the Black community for probably somewhere in between 30 and 50 years, and it's never been Black owned. And so, you know, just with everything that's going on right now, when you look at some of the different gaps that are, you know, there in between, you know, the Black community and the white community, you look at the wealth gap, you know, you look at the housing gap, you know, you look at some of those things, and we need to be able to model and show those that are coming up behind us, that Black people can unify, and that we can empower our Black community, right? Because our reality is in most cities, metropolitan cities, you have Black neighborhoods but not Black communities, because in order for there to be a community, there has to be an economy. And our reality is we really don't have an economy in the areas that are predominantly Black. And in order for those neighborhoods to transition into communities, there needs to be an economy, which means there needs to be goods and services that are predominantly sold and produced by Black people, where we can ethno aggregate and we can stick together and spend our money with each other so that we can ascend the ranks and ascend the ladder, and eventually, start producing and providing some self-sufficiency. Because I think that's important for us. And so, man, we're just looking at this as a tremendous opportunity, as an example, one of many, to come, that just allows our community to have an opportunity to support and give us an opportunity to show and model that this can be done, and allow our Black dollar to circulate within our community for a little
Yeah,
while first.
yeah. I know. A lot of times historically, they talk about how many times the money bounces in our community versus other communities, and a lot of times we take our money outside the community. Um, that's major, and unfortunately, before the civil rights movement, and it's always questionable how great the civil rights movement was for us, and how much segregation was good for us. But before the civil rights movement and segregation, we had African American theaters, taxi companies, buses. So we left those places to go integrate, So all those dollars that we would have had in our community, instead of saying, okay, we'll spend our money here first, they got off the African American buses and went to these other communities. They left the African American theater. They left the tax. They stopped calling you for the taxi cab. So now, I believe, what kind of training do you think? Because we talk about reparations and getting these finances and money, but if we don't have a plan, and I know Ice Cube and Dr. Claude Anderson is one of our mentors. We'll have him on here soon. Hopefully, when we have him on, I would love for you to be on when we get him scheduled, Dr. Claude Anderson. But he was with Charlemagne and them a couple of weeks ago. We've been studying Dr. Claude for years. But what skill set or what kind of plan? You guys are beginning a phase of that plan. What skill set do you believe we need? I mean, we're talking all this Black Lives Matter, and and on the daily, I work in education, and sometimes it hurts when you're looking out for the best interests of some of these kids and their parents, the disrespect, and we don't take care. Black Lives Matter, but how do you know Black Lives Matter? How do you act like Black Lives Matter? You're just saying it, but how do Black Lives matter, and what skills do we need to know? Because daily, I'm just seeing it's just a slogan to me.
Yeah.
It's just a slogan. You're saying this, it's been politicized, and I think it's turned to where it's being marketed in a way where we're losing. What does Black Lives Matter mean, and what skills do you think our people need to know to really say Black Lives Matter?
I think probably one of the things that I've been, saying is just self-love. And I think, if we could get over the hump of self-hate and get on the side of self-love, I think, we could see a lot of things change. Unfortunately, some of what we've seen in society and some of the way that we've been conditioned in society has caused us to think that what we have to offer is not as good as what someone else has to offer. And so, I think when you go into it, when you enter into a situation with a preconceived notion about what's better, then I think it could kind of hinder your ability to love us. Because even from way back in the day, like, a lot of Black people thought that the white man's ice was colder. And, like, that's a very diabolical thought process, you know what I'm saying, to portray and to perpetrate out there, and to almost get us to feel like, that we're inadequate somehow or another, or that we don't measure up, and just really like developing this thought process of self-love. And one of the things that I love that you mentioned, Dr. Claude Anderson, and he talks about um, ethno aggregation and the importance of it. And if we could understand it, I think we would benefit tremendously. He gave the example of these big time cities. They have all of these different areas that seem to be okay with us, Little Italy, Chinatown, and these places where, all they do is just deal with each other. And he tells this
Yeah,
story about
Germantown.
German towns and things of that nature.
Yeah.
And he
He
tells
was like, whenever you ever seen a black town?
Yeah, yeah. And he tells a story about this black marketing company who went to one of those areas. It might have been Chinatown or one of Asia, one of those areas. And they wanted to do their marketing. And the people there were like, no, that's okay, we don't want to. So the black marketing company was literally slicing their prices down tremendously just to be able to get the business. And the guy said, I think it was Chinatown, he said, you black people just don't get it. We don't spend our money with anyone but us. It's not about the deal you're trying to give me. It's not about us being able to make money. It's not about that. It's about we're so in love with us. We're so in love with our ascension. We're so in love with our empowerment that making money is not more important than spending my money with somebody that's like me. And so when I say self-love, I mean really like fighting to support each other no matter what, right? And that's what we need to get over the hump of, to stop thinking that all of these other things that are being developed and made is better than your black brothers and sisters who are making the same thing or
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
stuff.
And another thing you said, there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody you can have an Italian fest, you can have all these little festivals and all these culture fests based on Italian fest but when we come together, it's this notion that the inferiority complex, man. I think we developed that, and it's unfortunate, and it's not negating. So anytime you say black pride or our self-respect for each other, it's not negating any other culture.
Right.
It's not saying we're better than anybody else. It's saying that please allow us to offer the best, put our best scholars, our best architects, our best engineers, our best legal teams, our best thinkers.
Yeah.
Put those individuals out there and let them compete fairly with the world. Because when we look at it, we're competing with the world. We're competing with, it's a world economy, really. So I spoke with one of my guys, Miss Susan, from Minority Behavioral Health Group. She's from Nigeria, and her parents are about 80, 70, between, father might 89 or something like that. Mother's like 75, something. But she's from Nigeria, and her kids are born here. And I was calling to schedule an appointment about our company to work on some community development things. And out of nowhere, the discussion came out COVID and what the world is going through. And I haven't seen her in years. I haven't talked to her probably in 3 years. But she never left off from this positive place that she's always lingering. She always has this discussion to where she talked about the power of the COVID virus. After she talked about the power of God, she said, God is always in control. We're going to get through this. We always get through it. But think about all the good that has come out of it right now. And I'm running through my mind, and we start to talk. She started to talk about the communication that she has with her kids that are adult. But now every other day she's talking to them. Some of the things as far as hygiene are concerned, she brought out every positive aspect of this virus that's plaguing us. And then she spoke of in her country, the individuals that are actually dying from the virus are the individuals with money. It's not like in America. So I said, what do you mean, Miss Susan? She said, in Nigeria, a lot of the people that have money to travel with the finances are going to London. They're going to all these places, and they're bringing the disease back home, right? And it's a different look than here. You have people that are in poverty being impacted, but because of the lack of respect for the virus and contact tracing and testing, you don't know where to get it from. It's not even proven that educational systems are giving it, but the adults are making decisions and they're bringing it into their families, into these lifestyles. People are not protecting themselves. What do you think as far as COVID is an issue right now? How's it impacting your church? What is your community's views when you're down there? I'm in a different community. I stay in Ellet, so it's kind of choppy. It's it's a range of views here. Northern Ohio, you're in Southern Ohio. What are the views on COVID? How are people responding? And what measures are they taking down there where you are?
I think it's a pretty vast array of opinions and thought processes and views down here as well. And so we're experiencing people who are still not wanting to, have, a lot of contact. We've experienced people who are kind of like in the middle. It's just, depends on who. And then we're experiencing some people, they just over it. They tired of Zoom. They tired of everything video. They're tired of all the virtual. And they just gonna gather. And they like, look, man, if I get it, I'm gonna just get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll deal with it. So you got people that are just on all ends of the spectrum. And so I think for us, it's just really trying to respect wherever anyone is on that spectrum. If you don't want to be in contact, respect it. If you don't mind, you know what I mean? And that's the difference, just really respecting everybody wherever they are on the COVID spectrum, because, it's different levels to it. So
it's so tossed up, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then with the numbers increasing, I don't think any party can point the finger, and I think that's when we might have went wrong there. Trying to blame one person for what's happening and make a response to it. But without the president of the United States, we still have individuals in power more than him, and locally, governmentally, that we probably could have taken. So I think, what is it? Australia, somewhere they didn't have another case. They ain't had a case in a minute. So they opened up. So they're saying if we shut down for 3 months, or if we just commit, not even shut down, but just go by certain measures, we'll be able to operate. Yeah. Are you doing outside services? Are you doing indoor? Are there a certain amount of people coming in? Funerals and weddings. How does that look for the church right now?
Yeah, we were doing, we decided to do outside services back in June because we realized two things. We realized that we all have this physiological desire as human beings to gather. We're built, it's built into us to want to commune with other people. So we knew that, but we also knew that people wanted to be safe. So we knew going back into the building back then wasn't the best option, but gathering was. So we needed to figure out how we were going to be able to gather safely so that we could kill two birds with one stone, which was gather but do it safely. So we decided to do it outside, and it was tremendous. I have some friends who they decided to go inside relatively around about the same time. They experienced about a 30% rate of return for inside worship services inside of a building, which, I could understand because not everybody was on board with going back inside and all of that. But we didn't experience a 30% rate of return. We had about 100% rate of return or more.
So when you say rate of return, is that members coming back, people coming back?
Yes. So only about 30% of what they were, what was attending before COVID was coming back inside of the building. But we experienced at least 100% or 120% rate of return.
Wow.
Because people, I guess, felt comfortable, with gathering because, you could gather as safe as you want. We had one of the mothers of the church. Her name is Mother Penny. She came to church with a mask on about 40 yards away. Like, hey man, pastor, she had her mask on, and she was about 40 yards away. So, she felt good. It was outside. It was elements. It's fresh air, it's sunlight.
Yeah.
30 yards away with a mask on. I can't. So I think, just that level of safety, that natural safety, I think added, to people's like security level when it came together.
Good, man. So I won't hold you up, man. We got Penn State, Ohio State coming. We got the fight tonight, Javante Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Man, hey, I know you just came out of traffic started, man. Always got to ask this question before we clock out. And rest in peace, Yanami Jones. Coach Jones passed away from cancer. Derek Stokes' daughter, she passed away, I think, of cancer in this month, man. So God bless them. Keep them in your prayers. What is the word? What's the message for today, man? Always great to have your time, man, and your wisdom. We share the same birthday. Didn't even know it, man.
Yeah.
Same exact birthday, boy. We was in the hospital at the same time, trying to fight to be the best we can, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's crazy, man. Happy belated birthday to you, Libra brother. What you got to say to the world, man? What we got to close out before this election? I know some of our other brothers desired to be on, but they were busy. But how will we close this out right before an election on Tuesday?
I would just say,
give us some good word, brother.
I would just say your best is yet to come, and don't allow present circumstances to deter you from what God has promised you for the future. Because just because it might not look the way you would prefer for it to look now, I believe that God has something real good in store for everybody. Whomever is watching this, if you're watching, I'm talking to you. I want you to hold on to the promises that God gave you. Hold on to the word that he gave you, and don't allow, present circumstances to discourage you, because I believe that weeping might endure for a night, but joy is going to be coming in the morning. So,
oh man. Yeah. Hey, that's for me too. Look, I see behind you. It looked like it say hustle. I can't see behind your head. Grind and execute.
Yeah,
that's cold, man. But thank you for your time, Pastor, man. I know you came through traffic, man, able to speak up. We're gonna put this out just to get people ready and just to start thinking different. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and wisdom, man. Love you, brother. God bless, man, and have a great service tomorrow.
All right, bro. Thank you, man. Love you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.